Welcome to Ask Mark, our scuba diving Q&A. If you have any scuba diving questions, then pop them down in the comments section underneath this video and use the Ask Mark hashtag to get featured and your question featured in an upcoming one. Today I'm answering a question from Joseph Dracula about servicing dive equipment as a career. Joseph says, "Hello Mark, my question is about getting into servicing of and setting of diving regulators by the many manufacturers out in the market. I have extensive experience on high pressure and oxygen and would love and enjoy to get into this field. What are your thoughts? Also enjoy your videos on diving. Thanks." You're welcome, Joe. Getting into servicing diving equipment depends on where you are in the world. Here in the UK, for example, we're quite strict. You need to be associated with a dive center that is a recognized dealer for that particular brand that you want to service and take a servicing course. And if you choose to leave that dive center and go to another one, for example, you technically lose that qualification and you have to do it all over again with the new dive center. You also can't buy servicing kits and certain spare parts, even from a dealer. They would have to fit the parts for you. And yes, that is quite strict, but it's all to try and avoid cowboys and individuals from modifying their dive equipment and getting hurt. But actually being a servicing engineer, yeah, it can be fairly lucrative. You kind of have to fill a niche. And yes, as you sort of mentioned in your comments, there are a lot of diving manufacturers out there. So you've got to make sure that you can get hold of each of the parts and there's not someone already established in your area, which chances are there are. And you're going to be able to get hold of the parts. You're going to have all the other specific tools, because a lot of brands have very specific tools for certain jobs. They're the kind of things that you could kind of do it without the exact tool, but chances are you're going to damage the regulators in some way and you're damaging customers' regulators. Now you've got to buy them a new regulator. So yeah, it can be done. Here in the UK is my background, and yes, it can be, but you're like an in-house servicing technician, and yeah, that can be a 9-to-5 job. And as long as they are a decent sized dive center and they have accounts with enough brands, because that's another thing, if the dive center can only service one brand of regulator, then that's your only clientele. So you're going to have to try and find a dive center that has a decent repertoire of different brands that they can. And it's not as simple as just, oh, you don't have a Scuba Pro account, just open up a Scuba Pro account. They're often geo-located or geo-restricted in that if you have a certain dealer here on the map, they won't allow anyone else to open up another dealer account within a 25-mile radius or something, so as to not have like competing dealers right next door to one another. So there's that issue to put up with as well. But if you're not in the UK, I think in the States you can get hold of like servicing parts and replacement parts. I could be wrong. I've never tried it myself out in the States, but I think it's a bit easier to be able to go a bit more freelance and service the equipment. And your experience with like high pressure oxygen and whatnot will go a long way, because you're going to understand what each part is doing inside of a regulator, so that after you've disassembled it, after you've reassembled it and it's not working quite correctly, chances are you're going to know how to adjust or what should need adjusting. But yeah, you can do it as a job. It's just you need to double check exactly where you are and how you can do it.